Action!
3, 2, 1.
You feel it coming?
Hey.
Great. Hey. Just take a breath.
Oh, how's she doing?
Fully dilated? We're almost there.
Fully dilated. Okay, you got this, baby. Okay.
Nice big breath on 10. She's crowning.
Okay, and cut.
Now you're strong.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. We have a major development unfolding in the legal situation around a certain popular film adaptation. Long-awaited evidence has entered the public record, and it directly challenges key parts of the narrative we've been following. Today, we're dissecting newly released materials that include a very private audio recording from the film's lead actress, raw footage from a pivotal scene, and internal studio notes that change the game entirely. This crucial information was compiled and shared online by independent researchers and is now part of the official public case file. I want to give full credit to the dedicated team that organizes these complex legal documents. I was speaking with them earlier, and their commitment to transparency is incredible. They are a small channel doing massive work, and they absolutely deserve your support. I've linked to them below. If you appreciate this deep dive, please go over and help them grow. So, what exactly has come to light? We now have a full set of exhibits. This includes detailed script notes from a top studio executive to the actress following revisions, the complete personal audio memo, professional reports, and extensive email and text message chains from a critical period last August. All of this is now accessible through public court records. In this video, we're focusing on a few explosive pieces. First, I want to share with you the audio clip where the actress speaks off the cuff about preparing for this movie. In this recording, she talks openly about her physical readiness after having a baby, her stress about returning to work, challenges with childcare, and her anxiety about a long separation from her family. This audio is central to the defense, aiming to show she initiated discussions about her body and schedule adjustments for personal reasons. Let's listen. So, to summarize that conversation, the actress had prior commitments to another project. She's explaining to the director that she's completely overwhelmed, stressed about lacking support at home, anxious about back-to-back filming, and genuinely worried about being physically and mentally prepared. She explicitly states that starting in March is too soon after having a baby, and that she needs more time before I go back to work to get into her best shape. She then suggests moving the start date to May. She connects this to a deeply personal goal to avoid a month-long separation from her husband due to his overseas filming schedule, hoping to align the shoot with her children's school break. Several things are immediately apparent. First, the tone is friendly, trusting, and informal. She says she's talking to him as a friend at this point more than anything. She's divulging private details about her family life and personal stresses. Second, the driving force for the schedule change is her own stated need for more preparation time and family logistics. This memo was sent in early February. For context, it's been widely reported that her husband sent a text to the director just a few weeks later, essentially making the same request, to adjust the schedule to prevent family separation. In that text, he uses very strong language about their family policy of not splitting up. So, at that time, the unified request from their camp was clear. A major priority was keeping the family together during the production. This is pivotal. The defense uses this memo to establish a precedent. It shows the actress initiating personal, vulnerable conversations about the very topics that would later be portrayed in a completely different context. It shows accommodations were being requested and, based on the final schedule, were granted. There's another layer here that hasn't gone unnoticed. For years, this couple has presented a public image of being entirely self-sufficient parents without outside help. Yet, in this private memo, she's openly discussing hiring a baby nurse. It's a small but telling detail that highlights the divide between public persona and private reality, which involves the same logistical headaches and need for support that many parents face. The core takeaway from this audio is that it does not sound like someone who is guarded or professionally cold toward the person she's addressing. It sounds like someone confiding in a trusted collaborator about the chaos of her life. And it clearly places the initial conversation about her body, her readiness, and the desire for a schedule change squarely with her. Now, let's move to the second major piece of evidence, the raw footage from the filming of a key romantic montage. This is the scene that has been described in certain alarming terms, but the unedited behind-the-scenes video provides starkly different context. I have to present this carefully due to music licensing, but I can describe and show key silent moments that are incredibly revealing. What we see is the lead-up to the specific moment that became a focal point. In the clip, the actor, in character, shows the actress's hat. He demonstrates, "I'll take it off when I'm about to kiss you," clearly outlining the planned choreography. The actress responds playfully, "You know, I like the hat." They share a joke about a hypothetical sticker on it. The interaction is light, cooperative, and professional. They are, without question, workshopping a pre-planned moment for a love scene. They then proceed to run through the movement. The physical contact in question happens as part of that rehearsed sequence. He moves from one side to the other, leading into the kiss attempt. The now famous line about scent is exchanged, but the context on the tape shows the actress immediately following up by mentioning her own spray tan and body makeup, explaining where the scent came from. The entire exchange is part of a flowing rehearsal for a romantic scene. This footage is critical because it visually contradicts the idea of a spontaneous, unwelcome, or non-consensual advance. This was not an improvisation, it was a rehearsal of a blocked moment. They were literally discussing the mechanics of the kiss, the removal of the prop, before performing it. The playful banter shows a relaxed, creative environment at that specific moment. The judges previously noted that actions within the bounds of filming a scripted scene are part of the creative process. But this video is crucial for the public understanding. It allows you to see for yourself the nature of the interaction versus how it's been characterized. It shows two actors and a director figuring out how to physically perform a love montage. The alleged discomfort is absent from this captured lead-up. This connects directly back to the voice memo. First, we have private audio establishing a friendly, confiding relationship. Then, we have on-set video showing a normal, collaborative rehearsal process for an intimate scene. The picture emerging from this evidence is one of standard professional collaboration, not the hostile environment that has been alleged. Now, let's examine perhaps the most decisive piece of evidence for understanding the creative tensions on this film, the script notes from a high-level studio executive. This shifts the discussion from interpersonal dynamics to the fundamental business and creative pressures driving the movie. We must remember this is a major studio adaptation of a massive bestseller. The studio has specific expectations for its audience and its rating. The script note we have is from the executive to the director, copied to the lead actress. It's dated from early last year, just before filming began. The tone is positive, but contains a very clear, non-negotiable directive. She praises the character development, but then states the core issue. The bigger question is this does not read like an R-rated movie. Let's unpack that. She writes, readers of the book are expecting some heat. We just cannot have an R rating for language. That would be a huge mistake. She assumes the love scenes are still being developed and states, ultimately, that will be up to you and the actress to decide specifics. I'm hoping they are sexy and grown up. I'm asking you to also think about moments that are outside the actual bedroom, moments that feel grown up and sexy, so we deliver for an audience that is expecting an R-rated movie. Her final instruction is key. Please work to find the balance between sweet, funny, and endearing with moments of real heat. This is not a subtle suggestion. This is a top studio boss explicitly telling the director and star that the current script lacks the necessary adult sensuality to meet fan expectations or justify the intended rating. The mandate is unambiguous. Add more heat, add more grown-up, sexy moments. This single document reframes the entire gratuitous content accusation. The push for more sexually charged material is documented here as coming from the studio, from a female executive, and as a commercial and creative imperative. It recontextualizes the director's role. If he is subsequently working to inject that required heat, he is not acting on a personal, inappropriate whim. He is executing a direct order from his employers. The note also reveals a fundamental creative disagreement. The executive warns the current draft risks feeling like a jarring shift from a rom-com into a drama. She wanted the sensuality integrated, so the transition to the story's darker themes felt organic. This hints at the core tension. Was this film a serious romantic drama, or was it being steered toward a lighter tone? This studio note shows the financial backers wanted the former, with undeniable romantic and sexual tension. This leads us to two specific, contentious script issues: the borrowed "no kissing on the mouth" line and the much-discussed cookie scene featuring the younger actors. First, the "no kissing on the mouth" line. This is famously from the film Pretty Woman. The script notes show that the actress and her producer husband wanted to include this line in their draft. It appears in two separate scenes. Each time, the studio executives note is firm: "Prefer not, and can we not do this?" The studio explicitly rejected this idea. Their reasoning is sound creatively. You generally avoid directly lifting iconic lines from other films. It can feel like plagiarism or lazy nostalgia that doesn't serve your own story. This is significant because it demonstrates that not all of the lead actress and producer's creative ideas were accepted. The studio pushed back. This counters any narrative that one side had unilateral creative control. Now to the cookie scene. This has been a major point of allegation. In testimony, the young actress described feeling uncomfortable when the director asked her character to lick the spoon, framing it as an improvised, gratuitous direction. But the release script pages tell a fundamentally different story. The scene is described in detail. The stage directions read: he offers her a spoonful of dough. Taking a taste. Oh wow! Licking her lips with him so close, it's impossible not to feel the rise of sexual tension again. It later describes their kiss with unadulterated passion. This scene was not an improvisation. It was not a direction the director invented on the spot. It was written in the script. And according to the document evidence, this specific scene was an addition made by the lead actress and her husband during their rewrite. This is critical. The moment cited as an example of uncomfortable, allegedly inappropriate direction was A. explicitly scripted, and B. reportedly added by the very producers who later supported the complaint. The script explicitly calls for licking her lips and sexual tension. Therefore, if the director is guiding the actors to convey the sexual tension that is written into the stage directions, and that was added by the producers, what is the factual basis for the complaint? It appears to be the execution of the written material. This creates a serious inconsistency. On one hand, the studio is demanding more heat. On the other, a scene written by the producers to inject that very heat is later cited as evidence of misconduct. It's a confusing circular argument that the script evidence seems to completely dismantle. The inconsistencies extend further. Let's examine the case of the hospital scene kiss, or more accurately, the kiss that wasn't originally there. The lead actress submitted a formal court declaration about this. She claimed that in the original hospital scene, where her character declares her love, the intention was always to kiss in the scene with everyone's knowledge and consent. She even mentioned planning the lipstick for it. She stated the scene was cut, and the kiss was relocated to a reshoot in an apartment setting. But the unsealed script pages present a different fact. The shooting script for the hospital scene contains no stage direction for a kiss. The action ends with her character floating away, 1 foot off the ground. The script for the apartment reshoot also contains no stage direction for a kiss. It ends identically. So where did this always intended kiss originate? The script does not document it. This suggests the kiss may have been an improvisation during filming. There's nothing wrong with improvisation. It's a common acting tool. The issue is the retroactive narrative. In a legal document, it's presented as a fully planned, consensual creative decision to contrast with other interactions. Yet the primary source material, the script, doesn't support that claim. We can now see a clear pattern emerging from all this evidence. Audio memo. The actress initiates personal, friendly dialogue about body and family, seeking schedule changes. On-set video shows a collaborative, choreographed rehearsal for an intimate scene. Studio notes. The studio, not the director, mandates adding heat and grown-up sexy moments. Cookie scene. A sexually charged scene was scripted, and evidence indicates it was added by the producer's own rewrite. Hospital kiss. A claimed, always intended kiss isn't found in the relevant scripts. The pattern suggests a narrative where the lead actress had significant creative input and personal agency, making requests, adding scenes, collaborating on rehearsals, while similar creative agency from the director, or his execution of studio orders, is later framed in a negative light. The defense's argument is crystallizing. They are presenting evidence of a normal, collaborative professional process that was later reinterpreted when the working relationship deteriorated. The documents show the actress could share openly about her life, and they accommodated her. But when the director operated within the same collaborative and creative space, his actions were isolated and recast. So, what is the ultimate significance of this new evidence? We've moved from sensational headlines into the detailed, factual world of legal exhibits, raw audio, unedited footage, and internal memos. This material doesn't provide all the answers, but it supplies essential context that was previously missing. It reveals the immense pressure from the studio to create a specific type of film. It shows a lead actress who was deeply involved in the script, with some of her ideas being rejected. It demonstrates that specific, complained about moments were actually inscribed in the shooting script. And it reveals personal communications depicting a working relationship that was, at one stage, trusting and cooperative. The central question this evidence forces us to confront is about consent and context. Can you consent to a collaborative, intimate scene in rehearsal, then later reframe that consent? Can you add a sexually charged scene to a script, then later object to the director directing that very charge? Can you be under direct studio orders to add heat, then later allege that the efforts to fulfill that order were gratuitous and personal? These public documents may not decide the legal case, but they profoundly challenge the established public narrative. They compel us to look past the emotional language of initial complaints and examine the timeline, the scripts, and the studio mandates. I want to thank the independent researchers again for their diligent work in making these complex public records accessible. Their channel is linked below. If this detailed factual breakdown has been valuable to you, please go support their effort. Now, I want to hear from you. What is your primary takeaway from this evidence? Does the personal audio memo alter your view of the working relationship? Does the studio note about the rating change your perception of the more sex allegations? Does the script for the cookie scene contradict the related testimony in your eyes? Let's have a thoughtful discussion in the comments below. This is a multifaceted situation with room for different perspectives. Please share your analysis respectfully. If you found this thorough, evidence-based breakdown insightful, please give this video a thumbs up. It significantly supports the channel. If you're new here and want more analytical deep dives like this, hit subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll be reading your comments.